you here are in love right now. Yeah, you jerks. Romance is hard. It's hard to figure out. I am always constantly worrying about not saying the right thing and you know, there are people. For the longest time, I had this theory that God was trying to take me out as far as relationships go. Because anytime something started going a little bit good, we'd go back to her place and her boyfriend would be there. Her dog died. And I was explaining this theory to someone, and she said, "I dare God to try and stop us." And I was like, awesome. So we go back to her place, and her house is burning down. And it's like, what do you, I don't know. So mood killer, get you hot. Like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do in that situation? And so for me, it's like, I feels like something I just really need to get over. It's this wall that I've been unable to climb for a large part of my life. A lot of people have trouble saying, I love you. I have difficulty saying I like you. It becomes a chicken bone in my throat and I just stand there like the Walking Dead, like, and I just wait for them to like smash a jar of pickles and jab the glass into my eye and run away. And it's like, I remember the first time I ever told someone I liked them, I wrote it down. I was so scared to actually say it. And it's like, I get all sweaty and I got man boobs and it was just like waterfalls underneath. It was not a good look. And so I wrote it down. And which she, you know, I gave it to her, which she then handed back with the grammar corrected. Because she was my teacher. It was very innocent, I was very young, and I had made a list. I was trying to appeal to her. Here are some things that I like, just so you know, and maybe we like the same things. But without commas, it was devastating. It was a devastating list, because it just read, I like cooking my grandparents and you. Which sounds like a very Hannibal Lecter kind of dinner invitation, like, hello, teacher. I'm gonna put this apple on your desk. And so I've been trying to bolster myself for a while to be able to get over this hurdle. I've climbed under most of life's hurdles, I feel like. But this one I felt like, come on, Shane, you talk to hundreds of people at a time and you can't say, I like you, this is insane. And so I remember I was walking with someone that I liked, and I was like, okay, this is it, I'm doing it. And I turned to her, and she turned to me, and she said, I like you. I was like, fuck you! Damn it! Because then all I had left to give was, I like you too. And it just felt like vomit, like meaningless and terrible. You know, but part of what I try to do is find the beauty in those moments, and so I wrote this, and this is called I Like You Too. There's a gravity in you, so heavy. It begs me to wonder if other hands have experienced the same difficulty as mine. When my hands sit down in the spaces you allow them, they feel compelled to never leave. There are magnets in the way I feel about you, like there is fruit in the jello. I like you too. I like you so too. I like that you keep your shoulder blade sharp enough to cut through the maybe knots that have kept me tangled up in hesitation. My spine is the bridge where my heart meditates on the difference between diving and falling. My pulse is the busy signal gravity gets when calling to collect payment for keeping my feet on the ground, because the butterflies in my stomach were just caterpillars before they met you. They did not begin rehearsing flight until they were sure you were the sky. I like you too. My laugh has been the overdue library book that I thought would never be returned. Believed all the pages been torn out and burned to warm someone else's lonely nights. But you bring back my smile like you bring back hardcore pillow fights. On the list of things I like, you rank above cowboys walking wiener dogs. Cowboys walking wiener dogs ranks very, very high. And yet you are somehow above it. You make me admit to joy, you make me confess to the I love it. I am as guilty of happiness as I am innocent of despair. You are the never-ending music that invites me to dance around the electric chair that's been begging me to take a seat. You are the cheat code that makes me run faster, jump farther, walk through walls and breathe fire. And when it feels as though I'm stuck, you slip chains around each tire to remind me that sometimes we have to dig into the dirt and make the path bend to the direction we choose. To live like we lost our nothing to lose back and we were still wondering if our everything to gain would be enough to explain why we risked it all to carve scars in the shape of one another into each other like initials into trees. Please understand. And when I say I like you too, I'm not just echoing words back to you. I'm celebrating the fact that you said these words to me at all. Because I can't recall a time when it didn't feel like my best guess was another wrong answer waiting to happen. When I asked you what words you liked, you said, context. Because it changes everything. So let me bring you these long stem possibilities. None of them written in stone, just sewn into whatever vase you provide, whatever context you put them in. Because I've been watching the way sunflowers blush in moonlight. And it reminds me of the radiance you use to slay my shadows of doubt. You shout into my silence like an orchestra detonating requiems in my sleep. You steep yourself like tea into this broken cup I keep locked behind a cabinet of bones. Ribs like thin tombstones marking a resting place for something I could swear I once buried there. I didn't count on you becoming the skeleton key that would open up these parts of me. I didn't think anyone would want to unearth all the silly string and crazy glue. But I grab the shovel and I dig up these parts of me for you because I like you too. I like that you splash around in the puddle of me and turn my stillness into chaos. You cross my mind like an ambulance crossing a city. All other considerations clear a path and stop to make way for the thought of you. I like you so too, it feels like an emergency. Like we are riding in the back of a flashing red comet, etching ourselves into the universe like a scratch of light against the smooth black finish of a night so never ending, all we can do is claw at it with our shine. I like you too is the headline I want thrown against my doorstep every morning, front page in big bold letters like a warning that no other news is as important as this small declaration of war against loneliness. In this battle for joy, we are not often sent reinforcements. Self-doubt prints propaganda that says if we surrender, we will not be fired upon. But your presence in my life is the weapon I keep drawn against the oncoming bayonets of that lie. So make my aim true, because I like that you like the way I like you. And I love that you like me like that too.